Okay, so 1,000 sub live stream. Yeah, we're here. So, I'd like to thank everybody who's going to show up now and after this is aired because it's probably going to be out there. Um, yeah, I'm just going to do about an hour, maybe hour and a half live stream. Me just messing around on Space Engineers. Might have Gomer show up. Might have some other people, guys that I play with, show up, and we might do some other things. Probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some fleet upgrading while I'm here. I've got to repaint the Alamo, which is going to be fun, and I might try building a new ship. Don't know. I also got to finish up these guys up here, the Yosemite and the Fuji, which I haven't even put those up on the store on the Steam store yet on the workshop, which I need to put them up there. I may also consider. I don't know if I get time. I'll try to upgrade the Sentinels a bit, give them a little bit more. I don't know, some more interesting stuff. Anyway, before we get started, comment section. First one, Starfish Central, who has been doing this YouTube journey that about the same time I did. Uh, Congratulations on reaching your first 1,000 subs, bub. Yeah, thanks. It is not easy getting there. I'm gonna say that right now. But yeah, uh, doing this whole nonsense, it was just I wanted to do YouTube just because it was just something fun to do, and people seem to be enjoying it, and so I was like, we'll try this thing out, see how it works, and it went a little, it kind of went out of control, I would have to say, since we're now here. But since we're here right now, we're gonna finish up on the new frigate right here, which I'm calling the Yosemite class. And I guess y'all want a quick tour of this thing. Well, I guess we'll do it right now. It's just a quick tour because I'm gonna have to go inside here and figure some stuff out. So let's head up here. Yes, I have the door scripts going on. We've got the first airlock broken. Oh, this is going to open this door anyway. This I haven't been able to figure out how to fix because I need these doors at an exact distance. But right about in here, we've got the first maintenance area of the ship. Well, hey, man, don't worry about it. Check out Fall Guys and give them hell while you're over there, man. Anyway, Starfish, I'm playing Fall Guys with friends at the moment, so we'll catch up later. Sure, go right ahead. It's not mandatory anybody needs to be here. There's no mandatory nonsense happening. You can head off. By the way, this is just an interesting area. So we've got several cargo containers here. A lot of these supply uh, ammunition to the missile launchers on the outside. The missile launcher, I got something really cool with this. I'll have to somehow take this thing over somewhere and let me fire at like a target or something eventually. But you've got access to some of your thrusters here onto the side. You can drop on down here and hit the rest of the thrusters. This is one of the rail guns. There's a way to reach the other rail gun up top. So this is actually not a pressurized area of the ship, and it doesn't have to be. So continuing on, head over here. Let the auto door thing happen. And we head up to this way through the first area. You can hear medical stuff. This is where medical is at. Now there is some color coding I have to do to the inside of this thing to make it all, look good, make it look awesome. But yeah, we've got two beds for patients. We've got some science equipment, an office chair for the dock, waiting area, and a place to respawn, as well as some space hemp, so we can keep everybody nice and calm while they're getting stitches. So let's continue on with that. Here we have the first room, which is more of a, how do I call this? This is more like a central hub uh, control room, basically. I may put some type of seat in here or some nonsense. I don't know. Well, we got two controller block or two programmable blocks, four controller blocks for all the other equipment that's out there. We've got four, I think, four quad barrel auto cannons, which are protecting the ship from fighters. Very little anti-missile capability with this frigate because it was designed to be supported by the Sentinel class, and that's what the Sentinel class is designed to. You're not going to see, you may see a Sentinel by itself, but you are never going to see frigates or anything by themselves without Sentinel escort. A cruiser might be a different thing. So anyway, got these one systems here. We're gonna just hop up. Well, wait a minute. Hold up now. I can't go up there yet. I gotta show you the rest of this room. So we've got our gravity generator here. We've got some conveyors that can be worked on. We've got a nice little door separating some stuff out right here, which then goes into the main engineering area, which we have a deuterium reactor. Love this mod. Great mod. Absolutely beautiful. Can't go a day without it. We have an entire battery storage here, about 8 batteries. So it's more than enough to power the drive should I lose this. And we're nearing like the very back of the ship right now. We've got 2 oxygen tanks, an air vent so that we can keep everything, pressurized and nice. And then right over here on the side, we have access to an H2O2 generator. So we can access bottles, whatever we need at that point. You can just throw some bottles, some ice in here, and you're good to go. Not a bad thing to do. Not a hard thing to do. So going on from there, and for those wondering, the hydrogen storage for the ship is actually on top and on bottom. There's 2 separate hydrogen storage systems on here. So you guys love this. Also, we have our reactor right there, or our drive. So it can be worked on anyway. This is the problem I have with the door script. I don't know how to fix it. Any door that's within 1 or like a block from each other. In other words, we've got 1 block here. This is the block's distance, and then this block is where this one's at. They just seem to activate any door that's in the area. I don't know how to solve that, but I guess we'll go up the first maintenance, the upper deck maintenance hatch, or dorsal maintenance hatch, as we're heading on up here. As you can see, pretty easy to get up here. This is something I've got to work on. Clearly, this is the first set of hydrogen storage. Now, this entire ship holds 1 full tank of hydrogen. And we've got all of our gyros here, but this is pretty interesting. And I know some people are going to be wondering, how does this ship fly without damaging the hydrogen tanks? As long as you've got, because this is, well, let me pull a block up here. Yeah, this will do. As long as you've got a half block distance between the center of this, because it's 2 blocks high, the cone doesn't damage anything. And as long as you have a single block in the middle of space horizontally, it won't damage anything. So there's no way this can be damaged. Now, this does mean when repairs have to happen, and this is just a character flaw of the ship, I could redesign this so it doesn't happen. But I kind of like having character flaws in ships because, hey, you know what? They're things you have to do. And this is a problem that I'm going to have to solve right now. And I think the best way to solve it is just slap a ladder in there. Okay. See how that works. Am I upside down? No, I'm not. Wonderful. So yeah, you can jump down in there, you can repair, and you have access to almost everything. You can also repair a lot of things that would come in contact with your thrusters and all that nonsense. So you can maintain all that. I'm probably going to have to paint all of this interior. That's what we're probably going to do today, is paint the interior of this thing. Now, getting over here, we come to our dorsal maintenance area. This is our first 2. Yeah, so what we have up here, this is actually the Northwind Weapons dual flak gun, I believe is what it is. It's a very good mod, I'm not going to lie. It's a great mod. Where is that thing at? Here it is. I'll just go to it. In block weapons. This is what you're dealing with, and you can notice right about in here, I don't know if y'all can see it on the screen, if y'all are watching on a phone, please check out your computer. Basically, this mod stands 2 blocks high, and with the turret actually standing on the surface. So if you want to build a turret like this into your ship, you have to build it 2 blocks high. And this is what I love about the Northwind weapon systems, because if you look at a lot of these guns here, these big cannons actually have carousels in them. And that is just something I love to have inside of a ship. A carousel system, in my opinion, just works. It makes everything work out real good. It also provides something you have to design around, whereas with other mods, not knocking these mods at all, I'm just saying this is my personal preference. If you were to take the battle cannons pass, which I have used, there's just something not as engineeringly difficult or challenging as engineer wise to building a weapon system that you can just slap onto the surface and you just got to make surface area room. This requires you to build some of your biggest guns inside your ship as part of your ship. So it merges in and creates this nice feel, this flow with the ship that makes it feel more like a battleship. Also, this means that you can have guys run through here in this corridor and just start repairing. All I've got to do is I just got to whip out a repair tool and go to town on this, and I can fix it. Let's continuing on. We have a second gun. These have 2 guns apiece up there. And here we hit the first, or the dorsal access area. This enables me to access the missile launchers that launch out. These are the destroyer missiles. I believe we've got, I can reach most of them. I know that. I think I've got like 4, or no, 8 apiece. And then we have our railgun right here, which I can get a hold of and work on. I can add like lights and stuff in here to light this area up, make it look good. Head back this way if we want. And we can access all this good stuff. Let's head on over. We've got a drop on down here. Juke. Down we go. Area is repressurized to the best of its ability. So yeah, we've seen all that. Let's go into the other area. We'll check out the crew quarters next because those are awesome. So this is a ship that when I show you guys the crew quarters, you're gonna be like, let me do this visually. Oh wait, can I get a visual look at myself? No, I can't. Okay, never mind. Never mind. So this is a ship that you and your friends are gonna play on, and I wanted this to be up there. Red Havoc, congratulations, bro. Thank you very much. We're checking out I'm just showing off the new ship that I built, the Yosemite class. And I'm showing this thing off because I'm going to put this thing up. It does require Northwind Weapons Pack, and I believe the revised console pack, as well as the deuterium reactor and defensive shields, which are just common weapon core. The console pack is rather, it's a newer mod. It's a newer mod. You'll have to look it up. But it's revised. It's Colt's revised console pack. You can put that in there and use it. So we've got this area. I'm going to go in here. Here's the main crew quarters for most of the crew. I've got an air vent hidden here, so, and you can kind of hide a hole up in here if you want. So if crew's hiding up, y'all can post up with a gun, wait for somebody to go by, and just start zapping. If you want to do that, just surprise MFer. Anyway, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 beds. You can, this thing can maintain a crew of 5, can jump with 7 if you want, plus anyone who's inside of the crew or in the crew quarter area, or everybody that's on the bridge. We've got 2 showers and 2 open toilets because, hey, it's a military ship. You're not going to be able to... There's not anyone you ask. Yeah, sneaky vent. Yeah, Red Havoc, sneaky vent. Yeah, it's a sneaky vent. I've got a few of these actually built in. I like this feature because it enables crew members to like hide. And when I first did it a while back, I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then I thought I could get in. And I was like, oh, yeah, I can. So this is something you can sit in there and someone comes in. He's like, so then it kind of makes people, if you do a boarding action, you're in some trouble. There's some hidey holes. People can just start popping out of places if you don't know where you're looking. But yeah, added this up so that you have plenty of room for up to 4 people in here. I'm going to add a light here at some point. I should probably do that right now, actually. Let's get that over with because we need a light. Where's my light at? Lighty, lighty, light. There we are. 6. Josh Fakosh. If I have butchered that, I am sorry. Grats on 1,000 sub, dudes. Just here to drop a like and say hi. Headed out the door. At work, we'll watch later. Hey, go right ahead because if you're coming in right now, we're almost halfway through the review of this new ship. So you have a lot to look at almost immediately when you come in. I am just going to add a very simple light right there because that's very Spartan. So, continuing on. I'm going to head on over to the captain's quarters. This is one of those ships that if you and your friends are playing, there's going to be some jealousy issues if you're the captain. So y'all need to figure out who's the captain very quickly. Josh Fakosh, you got it right. Okay, very good. I'm glad I didn't butcher that. I said something right for once in Bohemian. For those of you who don't know, I live in an area of Missouri. If you look at the state of Missouri, there's this tiny little glob of land that sticks down like a heel of a boot, and we call that the boot heel. And it's amazing. it it's interesting because we mispronounce things from other states, and they mispronounce things in our state, in our area of the state. I had someone one time call me up from, and I hate to be like this, but they were from New York, and they go, "Hey, yeah, uh, is this the Booth Heel?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's called Boot Heel." No, 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 it says here on the paper Booth Heel, Booth Heel, and I was like, "Okay," but I butcher like other people's stuff all the time. I can't tell you how many times that's happened. Let's see, got more people. Red Havoc, yeah, try your best to add lights. LOL, Josh, LOL. Josh Fakosh, LOL. Josh Fakosh, ah, yes, Mazura. Yeah, that's right. Sounds like Arabic. Yeah, it sometimes does. Anyway, let's check this room out. And you can see, like I said, you're gonna have jealousy issues. We got our hide event right here for people to hide behind. This one's actually kind of interesting because I believe you could hide from this thing, and if someone comes in, two guys could just be hiding here and just start shooting. This is going to have to be a thing. If I ever do a machinima, I'm going to have to make this a thing. It's going to have to be an inside joke. People come inside of where they at, and they look over and go, "Oh, there they are," and then the thing happens. People misunderstand each other. Red Havoc. Yeah, people do. People do all the time. And reality, if people misinterpret something from my state, I'm just like, it's all right because reality, it's not that big a deal. But like in here, we got the big screen TV in the captain's quarters. We've got captain has his own armory, which reminds me, I wonder how many armories I put on this ship. That's usually something I'm very anal about and just overzealous on putting armories. Did I not put enough armories on here? I don't know. We've got a nice one here though. We've got some space hemp so that we can, captain can keep his wits about him. We've got a nice desk, beverages here, a good little corner seat so people can sit down, talk with the captain. Then back here in the more private area, we've got a nice little kitchen, another little desk to eat at, another flat screen TV, bed, shower, personal toilet. Captain gets all the amenities that most people don't get. So it's one of those things that could create tension between the crew, or the crew could just be like, oh, I see how this is. Anyway, Captain Jack would love that would love that captain's quarters, by the way. Now we come down to the second underpin area where we can access the rest of the stuff. I can access hydrogen tanks here. And this, for those of you that are wondering, this is the hydrogen tank system I was talking about a while back, where I did a video on this, where you put stuff in between the hydrogen tanks and the detonation doesn't actually hurt nothing. The problem with this design is I don't know what I could put in here in between, so I don't know if this detonation, worst case scenario, is going to detonate over and hit this one and may cause a double explosion, but it will not affect this conveyor. So the central conveyor line, this will allow all of them to work. But with this, I think it's 16 small hydrogen tanks, which equal one more. Um, I just looked at the comments for a minute. I'm gonna have to read that in a minute. It has it sort of creates a set of cells or hydrogen cells inside of a ship, which if they're hit, this is easy to repair right here. These tanks are easy to repair. Now fill them back up, it's not that big a deal. If a railgun comes through and hits this, it'll probably take out a gyro or two gyros, but it won't be a big enough explosion to take out the rest of the stuff in the ship. Hopefully, that's the theory. Um, at the same time, I'm going to be able to, maintain everything. And like I said, you'll have to shut down forward motion or something like that to prevent someone from burning up, because I believe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points out, and this will damage everything from this point forward up to this ramp. So you can be damaged up to this ramp. The ramp is completely undamaged, actually. I mean, it works out pretty good. So, like I said, an interesting design idea. And yeah, I built this in as a fatal flaw, so you'd have to turn off the inertial dampener, so the ship would just have to coast. And as it coasted, someone would have to work on it and fix some stuff and everything before you could get back full control of the ship. So it's kind of a neat little way. You're going to have to like shut the ship down pretty good in order to work on it, which is not a bad thing. You can still work on it on the fly. You just got to figure out what you're going to do. Anyway, heading down here, we have one air vent, another sneaky vent. We can sit back here and wait. Someone can sit back, bad guys come through, pop out. jump them when they come through. We've got our ventral guns, which is simply the same Northwind weapon systems that we have here. And then we got some sorters. I've got to program those at some point. I've also got a mod that makes these lights look so much better. I like the detail on it. And then we've got second gun, and then we come down here to the bridge. And this is why I like this console pack here, because we got some nice consoles. And this problem I have with these doors is something that's got to be fixed at some point, but one vent, two doors going in, and kind of like the Halcyon class on Halo, you've got your bridge on the bottom. And we've got everything to operate all the guns and all that nonsense. Just built this thing the way it has to go, thinking about it. Like I said, entire ship is a work in progress, and I've got to figure out lighting is a big deal. But there are ways around that. So yeah, this is the big boy ship that we've got going on right now, or not the biggest boy ship, but a big boy ship. And I've got all the other stuff. Let me take those lines out of here. All this gunk on the screen. But yeah, so reading back, Red Havoc, equality I see. Red Havoc, Captain has better quality of life amenities. Yes, that's true. Red Havoc, your ships are built better than mine. In my ships, every tank and cargo container is crammed with each other, plus they are inaccessible to repair. It takes a little bit of extra time. I'm not going to lie. And you'll end up breaking down everything that you've built and restarting. I think I'm going to say the Starfish Central said this one time. He said, you build every single thing in your ship. He said, you get almost finished and then you completely scrap it. And yeah, that's how my mind works. If I hit a point where it's foobar, it is almost better to... Oh, wait, we got an armory here. It's almost better for me to completely tear the ship down and rebuild it than for me to sit there and keep messing with something that's obviously not going to work anymore, and I'm going to have to try and salvage it. And that's just the way my mind works. Some people, they can go in, they can completely take a ship, take it completely down, build it, and they can salvage it. I'm saying that's a mental defect on my part. I can't do that. Let's keep going on here. One thing in my ships is they don't look like bricks. Yeah, that's what you ultimately need to go for when building a good ship in Space Engineers. Just try not to make it look like a brick. That's the one thing. And the way you do that is actually pretty simple. Like with preventing a brick, you just got to like mess with the thicknesses of the ship on one or two planes. So like here, you can see the ship deviates from either side. Also, providing sloped angles is not a bad idea also. The Sentinel has almost a brick-like shape. You can see its brick-like shape here, but then one of the problems I ran into building this was I wanted to put the, and I gotta throw up a block here just so I can show everybody what I'm thinking. I wanted to put the thrusters inlaid here, but then when I looked down from above, I realized we had this brickish looking shape here. And you can go brick as long as you, oh, hang on here. The consoles remind me of an old mod. It is an old mod, actually. It's been revised because the old mod doesn't work as well anymore. It's called, it's basically Colt's commands or command consoles pack, but it's the revised version. It says revised version on it, and it'll allow you to bring those. You'll have those um, command consoles in your ship, and I'm kind of planning on using this mod to revamp most of the ships that I've got going, the internals. But back to what I was saying. When I built this, I tried to set everything in, tried to make it as narrow as possible. And then I realized I could get more room if I put the thrusters on the outside and just added a skirt around it. And usually that's all you got to do. Instead of trying to make all your stuff internalized and setting them in, take something like the thrusters and just stick them on the outside. So they're just sticking out. And then just build a cusp to go around them so that they're covered. And you'll break up the entire look of it. Right about in here, like you can still see somewhere in here where the brick is at on the ship. You can see where the Sentinel has a brickish shape. But it's broken up with all these dips and humps and everything, all these extra areas. Like right in here, if I built this up, we could stick custom turrets on here instead of the other ones. These are older custom turrets. I'll have to upgrade those at some point. Just imagine all the crap I have to go through just upgrading a ship when it goes in. A lot of work. Over here with the cannons here, one of the things that I was going to do eventually, and I've actually already put this upgrade on this model, is putting the homing weapons mod on here, and then adding a Northwind weapon cannon right here to just give the Sentinel a couple of rapid fire cannons and some missiles to give it a little bit more firepower. Like I said, this thing is designed to chase down ships. That's its job. It's designed to chase down fighters, which fighters and let's be frank, the new AI mod, you're going to be getting swarmed. A lot of these guns here are designed to attack and tear through smaller ships. Uh, One of the best weapons in the game for dealing with small ships has always been these interior guns. So you basically sneak up, you basically charge after your enemy that's moving. The Sentinel keeps pace with the fleet and just starts tearing them apart as it goes in. And it's fast. The Sentinel in flight is just a very quick. Well, I'll show you here. The Sentinel is rather quick. I mean, on comparison, it's probably as fast as the Challenger. Watch me say this. I will get inside and I will fly this thing and end up wrecking it. Anyway. Oh, this one doesn't have the... I gotta fix that. Upgrades. Anyway, y'all have seen the inside of the Sentinel. This is the vanilla version of it. I need to do, or well, not this one. This is not the vanilla version of it. This is an upgraded version. You know, all the equipment and stuff I've got going on here, all the things you can work on and fix. So we got all that. Well, let's head up here. Go to the bridge area. And let me show you just how quick this sucker is. Watch the thruster on this thing when it takes off. You can see just how quick this thing can, and the design of it was to be something fast that I could keep maneuvering, keep pace. It doesn't have to outmaneuver a fighter, it just has to keep pace with it. Now it does have a little bit of drifting that goes on, which is not that big of a deal when you consider a ship and a fleet that's designed to chase down fighters. So it'll turn and it'll move, but you can see how we're just flying in real fast and just maneuvering so well. If you're in a fighter, you're going to have to pull off some crazy maneuvers to escape this thing, and it has the ability to hit targets at all directions. And you can see right here, I'm just going to flip this thing over. Give myself a little bit of a backup look, and put her back in the fleet. Yeah, that's how the Sentinel operates. It's got one guy can operate one of the any of the guns. The other guy can operate the missiles and fire them. I've got to set those to intermediate fire right now because I haven't. I usually don't use this thing in Weapon Core, so we need an intermediate version. Like I said, this thing is awesome. But I should show you guys the Alamo because the Alamo is just flat out crazy the way it's built. Because I actually based the Alamo on one of the ships from the Alien franchise. And that thing's just nuts in how it's built. So you get in the Alamo, you come down here. This thing has side cannons mounted to it. It's got uh, 4 CWAS guns. It's a pure destroyer. The best part is this thing right here. Half of this entire ship. This is the best part. This is the best part here. Half of this ship to about right here. That whole front section is all gun. Like it's like what is the joke? There's one guy talking said he was an amputee, and he said and he's walking on 2 legs. He said, "Yeah, babes." He said, "Ladies, you got to know I'm an amputee. This leg right here that you see on my right, that's all D." So that's the Alamo here. This is all D right here, and this thing is nuts to shoot. I'll have to put up a target out. Let's do that. Let's find a target here. What are we gonna shoot? What should I shoot? I'm not accessing most of the library I got. Where's my... Oh, yeah, there we go. Let's grab something decent. Let's grab a Star Trek ship here of some type. Yeah, we'll use this. 'Cause these things get shot at all the time. We'll just fly it out here. I'm having a bit of a lag issue right now for some reason. There we go. So before I do that, let me run back here and look through. Red Havoc is talking. Beautiful fleet right there. Yes, it is. Ship is beautiful. Been a while since I have seen a good looking ship. Yeah, it does. Um, I try to. One of the things that I do is I try not to run straight lines unless it's absolutely necessary for the design. 9 times out of 10, it's better to have a break than it is to have a straight line. Mostly because people like curves more than they like straight lines. Now, straight lines do work if you're putting in like something you want it to look like an actual cannon or like the tip of the spear or something like that. That works. You can call this something of a gunboat. Yeah, you could. In my opinion, a gunboat is not something that, in a ship sense, it doesn't have hyperdrive. So that's the difference between a Sentinel corvette and probably a gunboat I'll build in the future. The gunboat will not have a hyperdrive. They are purely for protecting areas, and if we move gunboats, they'll have to be moved on a logistical frigate. And that's the thing about frigates that people don't realize. If you're wanting to know about ship classes, I will have to do a video on it because a lot of people get the ship classification thing wrong. Corvettes are like a long range patrol craft. Um, the A gunboat is a short range patrol craft, so it would be something that would just kind of move around the ocean a little bit. From there, they're more numerous because they're smaller, and in the area that they operate, they have an advantage. Whereas the deeper in the ocean you get, the bigger you need to make your ship at some point. So the bigger you can make it, the easier it handles seas. That's why shipping containers and stuff like that are huge. It's not because they can carry a lot of stuff, that's a byproduct. They're huge because it's easier for them to handle waves and stuff. In space, this is a little different, but if you build a ship big enough, you can work. Your problem is not waves; it starts to become things like cosmic radiation and X-rays and shit like that. So you kind of want to, break around all that. The bigger the ship you've got, eventually you don't have to worry about radiation shielding or force fields to shield your ship because your armor is basically taking the brunt of the punishment. I think NASA tried to come up with an idea of this where they created a removable space layered armor where they would just have panels all on the ship that could be airtightly sealed, and they were each one was screwed into the next one. So every time you had something hit, it would get the energy would be dispersed through multiple plates, but then an astronaut could just take the plates off and then just replace all the plates when they got done in repair. So dry dock would be replaceable. It's kind of like the way when you're welding up the heavy armor blocks, you'll see them kind of like start to break. You'll see as they break in, they've got spaces of armor in between them to make them a little heavier. But yeah, continuing on, I'm still reading through comments here. Flip and burn, yes. Hover tank has a test subject. Yeah. No, not for this gun. We need something bigger than that. Use the children. Use the children. No, no, no. Like I said, this is not the thing that you use on people. I've got guns on here for people. Okay. We've got auto cannons. We've got interior turrets. I've got a lot of things for this. So look at the Alamo. I do have to repaint this because some reason I've stupidly put this thing down in stark white instead of gray, gunmetal gray, like the rest of these ships are. So I've got to redo that entirely. But we've got most of your guns. This thing fires the 2 boomer torpedoes and a set of missiles, destroyer missiles. So it has actual anti-ship torpedoes and maybe 2 racks of torpedoes. We've got auto cannons loaded up on this thing, almost put on it as an afterthought. A lot of the guns are kind of afterthought put-ons because the main weapon is right here in this one section. I'll show you guys what that is here in a minute. Uh, we got our quad guns, we got our auto cannons, we got big cannons, we've got more CWIS guns. autocannons in the back to protect this massive thruster bank, which I haven't. I have this thing turned off specifically in the mods. You have to go in and turn it on to make it work, or in the blueprint. But let's go into this thing. You see how this thing works. This can go into atmosphere, and it took a lot to get this thing in atmosphere. I'm gonna tell you. Um, this thing has it is heavy. Like I said, it is a heavy destroyer. It has the ability to keep itself up in Pertam, but you are not going to want to pull any crazy maneuvers. And to get it off planet, you're going to have to you're going to have to turn off. It takes a trick to get it off planet. You got to almost go. You've got to almost be pushing it up and then tilt it vertical and make it kick itself off planet. So the Alamo, if you got to bring an Alamo onto the planet, it's because it's the only ship and you have a real problem down there. It is not recommended. But you can see on the ship, we've got other areas where we've hidden thrusters and everything on this thing. Ow, I hit myself. So we got this. We've got some more atmospheric thrusters trying to get this thing to where it'll work. It will float in an atmospheric environment, whereas the Yosemite class will not. It's not meant to go down. For that, I'm just going to build a specialized assault frigate that will have all the. It'll be bigger than the Yosemite, but it will have the ability to carry troops and ships. It'll have fighters and a minimal armament, so it'll be able to do that. But anyway, let's go inside this thing. I've yammered enough about this nonsense. So coming up here, we've got a checkpoint, which I'm probably going to yank this at some point and try to put a merge block in here, probably somewhere, so that I can put this in. Let's go right back here. Drop. We'll hit this. We've got a nice little gun sitting over there, ready to blow you away. And this is the first area coming in, and this nice jump up staircase. Here's the thing that'll scare people. We've got another gun turret right there, so as soon as you pop in, most people don't look up. So they hit this, they're like, okay, we're running up here, and this starts gunning them down. So this will start stopping people from getting too close. And in here, we've got the first area. This is the first area you're going to be fighting from, which will be an armory. Guys can hide behind some stuff. There's also players can just start tearing stuff down if you want, and begin adding like a doorstop, one of those. What is it? It's like a pillbox or something on here. Let me find it. Yeah, this thing, embrasure. You can put an embrasure. I haven't used these things. I need to use them. But you can come down here and make a hasty embrasure just to prevent someone from coming through. Just cut down these two crates right here, and you can do it. That's just for decoration. Going up into here, we have the bridge. Might as well look at that. It's the first thing on. And we have this nice thing. And this is a heavy armor block lined room. So this is probably going to be one of the last things that survives on this. Red Havoc, if you want to get the Alamo to a planet, cut the guns heavy, boys. You said no killing of children. Only if the children are trying to take the ship. If you stay away, we don't have a problem. If you run up on the ship, we're going to have problems. But we've got the Alamo here, a nice little model of it. You can see we're probably right about in this area here, I would say, somewhere right in here. But we've got radar script going. I've got a script for, what is this? I forgot the name of it. Oh, it's to show me where the damage is on the ship. I can't remember what the script's name is. And I've also got another script for running reactors, batteries, stuff like that. This one is a bit more Spartan than the others because it's an earlier ship I built. But now we've got the first engineering core room. From here, you can access just about everything. You can access. It's a central hub area. It's also an engineering area. From here, you can access the main ship's drive. You can access some of the gyros. You can access the piping and some of the batteries that we have stored in the ship. Also, you can access one of the two hyperdrives. This thing carries two of them, like this here, where I can keep that bright green look going on. That's mirrored on the other side. We have our deuterium reactor here, obviously. And we have some of our control area. This is where we control the turrets. It's all buried in, so it's hard to hit. Shield control module here, because we have that. That is something I have to install in the new ship. And head over here. This was built before the Yosemite class, so it does not have the hydrogen cell system. This has two large hydrogen tanks stored in the back. and it uses its ion thrusters to get it out of a situation rather than keep it in. Heading back over, we have this area going in, checking some of these ships out. And I've got 2 mirrored crew quarters areas, which will hold up to 4 people. Each one has its own bathroom and stuff, so it's a little more privatized. And then there's a social gathering area, because the Alamo will be the ship, besides maybe a cruiser, which there aren't that many cruisers. It'll go up. Ship info, yes, that would be the one. If I could build ships like these. Dude, it just takes practice. And also, another thing I'll tell you, a lot of this stuff I steal from other players' ships and stuff. So if you sit there going, yeah, I wish I could do this. Just start downloading some ships online off the workshop and start checking them out. Here we have the rest of our gyros you can get to. And then we've got medbay over here. This is the interesting part. Tri-Lance access. So the Tri-Lance is the main powered gun here. So we're going to go in here to the Tri-Lance. This is how you get to it. Go through medical. And we have a tube that goes down. The Tri-Lance is accessed from 2 sides. And this is what we're dealing with here. This is a series of lasers. Each one of these, for those who are wondering, this is the 2-centimeter beam blocks. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of these. You can see we just have a nice big line. This is the main energy reaction system. Now, when you turn this on, it will not kill you. But this section here, you will see a large beam coming in, and it just builds up in these capacitors, and then it just pulse laser fires. Probably the hardest hitting beam you've ever seen coming through. This thing has Death Star quality. Like I said, most of the ship is a big giant gun. And that's what I wanted, a giant gun of a ship. Not just, oh, we've got a railgun in the front. This is, no, we've got a tri-beam particle accelerated laser over here. You can drop down here, and you end up relatively at the same place. See, we've got this ladder going up here. Got some extra storage. And this is ultimately the same thing, just mirrored on the bottom. So you've got all these laser... if I recall, I think it's laser diodes, and then we have all these mirrors to move in here. You are dealing with fancy blocks, I see. Oh yeah, there's a lot of fancy blocks on here. Lots of fancy blocks. I kind of want to come in here and redo these in the... Well, actually, I'll do that. When I do the revamp of this, I will probably put... But you can see here where I've got the glass, you can see up into the top here. So you can see someone else moving through if you have to, and then you see the laser diodes that are moving through, pushing all the energy around. And then it all just focuses. So when you hit this joker, oh good god, it takes a while to charge up. But once it does, it just continuously keeps firing. It's one of them things where you're just middle fingering the bad guy to no end. But anyway, if we go up here, this is just a commons room. And one of the things about the Alamo class is it is technically a ambassadorial ship, the way it's designed, because they are just the way I built this thing was to be as rugged and tough as possible. So we have a giant cannon blocking the actual, all the squishy bits of the ship. Then we have this nice area, so when this thing comes in, normally it is the center of any fleet like we have going on here. So other members of the fleet will come over here, they'll kind of commune and whatnot, and then they'll go back to their respective ships. Over here we have more programmable blocks that I can add way more stuff to if I want. If I want to add more scripts to this thing, I could do it, and I wanted that. So yeah, where we're at is on this bridge, and this is just a mix of window blocks and the armored beam blocks put together. So it creates a very armored, open, but secure feel to the entire ship. And then you've got this upper area here, which is just nice, just moving those in. This is up here, again, a combination of the window and the beam blocks, the grates. And this just gives you an opening. It looks like, well, you know, this is just a reinforced window. And that's all you feel. You feel like it's a reinforced window. You don't feel like a railgun could rip through this entire area. You feel really nice. Safe. We've got ATM over here. We've got a nice little vending machine, a bar, all the goodies you would want. So anyway, let's go down here, and I'm going to take this bad boy, because one of the things y'all want to see is this thing shoot something. Also, before we do this, we've got a series of decks. You can see right here, map level 5 is the lookout, which is upstairs. Every one of these ships has a lookout. Level 4C is storage room, tri-lens laser access. Level 4B, crew quarters, primary and armory med bay. You are here. Level 4A, engineering, turret, control, hydrogen tanks, cannon, and battery access. All that there. Level 3 is the bridge. Level 2 is the assault armory. And level 1 is docking collar. So continue forward. And yes, you can also access this container and access things. We've got all kinds of goodies. Let's hop in here. I'm gonna power up the dang tri-lance here. Now, where's the tri-lance at? It's been a while since I messed with this. We want to aim first, so let's do that. Okay, Khan. You have had your fun today. Now, this is the fun part about this cannon. Now, I'm going to see if I can back out enough to where you guys can see it light up perfectly. But we're going to turn this sucker on. You can see the ship lights up green. If you don't have like a glare on your screen, just give it a minute. Can't hear it build up, but you'll see it right before it fires. Just look at the very there. Yeah, this thing is just. Also, am I muted, IG? Oh, okay, never mind. I was looking down, so Red Havoc said, "Are you muted?" But no, this is how the beam cannon worked, and I kind of messed with this. Let me show you guys how this actually works as we're ragging Khan here for the moment, making him feel good, making him second guess his choices in life. Yeah, you hear that noise inside the ship, you know. Oh, we blew something up. So how this works, if you want to build a gun that looks like this, that lights up right before. So in the beam blocks, the 2 centimeter beams, there's a charger block. That's what's up here in this front here. It's a series of charger blocks, and this is going to be loud if I don't back off. And what these are is they're a small... Yeah, we're already punching through that thing in some areas. These are a charge block, and what this does is it builds up energy. I've got maybe 3 or 4 in the front. The way it works is 3 of them before you hit that first jump, and then then you just need 1 for the front. Yes, eat that, Con. I think it shut it. Did it shut it down? No, it's still got power. I may have to move the ship around a bit. But as you can see, when it fires, cinematically, the Alamo just looks amazing. From here, it sounds absolutely terrifying. Wow, the Bozar Khan is not happy right now. Khan is really not happy with that firing. But yeah, if you see the Alamo's main gun, the tip of the Alamo light up, you're in big trouble. If you see the side of it light up, you probably need to run. Small block that do large block damage. Oh yeah, this thing just wears through a target, and it looks like the ship is moving. It looks like the Bozeman is drifting a bit as it fires. So apparently the damage probably moved it. But this thing right here, it's just a pulse laser. That's all it does. The ship builds up power, and then it releases it. And dude, it sounds terrifying when those 3 things light up. I originally going to do this with 1, and I may do a light destroyer with 1 of these cannons. The Alamo carries 3. And the idea was, and here's the thing, the Alamo cannot fire this thing and maintain its shields at the same time. So it will have to work with 1. This is that big terrifying thing that when it fires, you're just like, oh, what the hell was that? Just scares the piss out of somebody. And that was the entire purpose. But the lore of the Alamo is that the Alamo is a class of ship that when it was originally conceived, it was supposed to be it was shot off. It was in its test phase. Ended up having to go do a fight and ended up holding its own against several ships. And it is built like a brick. The whole ship. It's built in such a way to where if it's maintaining a surface on you, it is just constantly pounding away as it shoots. Like I said, mostly this entire live stream has been me just going through the ships of the fleet. It's pretty cool. Let's go over here and check out the damage, because this is going to be loud when I think. Let me go turn that cannon off, because we're going to get air raped every time we look at that. I need to... Gotta wait for the doors. Hang on. Make one that is basically a glass cannon. Yeah. I was doing that with the Alamo, but then it ended up becoming an iron cannon, which was just fun in its own right. And of course, this thing has all kinds of other guns and everything. There we go. We go to, it blinks red, and that means all this is turned off. And show you this 3 centimeter, or this 2 centimeter beam. This is the small one. The 2 centimeter beam gets massive. You're talking something that can do a whole lot of damage when it gets... I think the other ships surrendered. Stop, please. The children miss their fathers. Yes, yes. Don't screw with the IWL. We've got things that you just don't even want to mess with. Heading over here, this beam cannon, like straight up, does not do what appears to be really impressive damage until you start looking at the holes in the ship. You start coming through here and look, you notice we've got a hole going here. Ooh, the ship is not happy. It's not happy. So it's basically a beam that comes in at the 2 centimeter mark. But as you can see here, it is torn through the ship and destroyed a whole lot of stuff. This thing was just raking across it. It would just be causing problems all the way through, tearing up vital systems and things like that. Go to the back here. You can probably see a whole bunch of holes. See, we have a hole here where it looks like the 2 centimeter beam ripped right through this section and tore through. They're missing uranium at the moment. We took out a couple reactors with that one shot. But yeah, this thing would just keep raking your ship until it wore it down, as well as all the firing. Like, we have holes clean through. We have a passage through your ship. We have made a hole, ladies and gentlemen. The enemy did not want us in here, but we made a hole and tore through it. Look right here. We have another hole right in this section. You can see that's just a menacing monster looking. And when you realize it fires this gun, you realize how awesome. And I wanted, like I said, I wanted this thing to look like a big rifle, like something you just grab and you could throw into any first-person shooter and be lobbing a tri-beam fire system at a target. But yeah, that's how the entire ship fleet works. All the system is now gone red, so we're not seeing anything else going on here at the moment. And yeah, that's like how the Sentinels work, how the new Yosemite class works. The Yosemite is interesting because I've got all these guns and everything. If it wasn't for the fact this thing would start racking up and firing at all the ships, I could probably pull it back a bit though. Let me see if I can get into this thing and make it go back and then turn it over to the pirates and then just start firing at it. That would be pretty awesome. And show you how the effing missiles work on it. Okay, let's go over here. I think this thing has reverse thrusters. We're going to turn this thing back because the moment I turn this thing into another ship, the very first thing it's going to do is start hurling, or everything else is going to start firing. I got to get it out of the 2,000 meter range, I think is what it is, most of the cannons and stuff. Maybe take it to 3,000. Now I can show you how the Yosemite's missile system works, because it's pretty cool when you get into Weapon Core and you can start making something happen. Red Havoc, I don't miss with the AXM, my own fleet. We have ships with their tier 5 thrusters. Oh yeah, I don't use those thrusters. A lot of people do, and that's okay. I kind of want to use. I'm big in the weapon mods because the weapon mods work really good, and I like setting certain limitations on myself when I'm building stuff. Let's see. And you use them as kamikazes armed with warheads. Yeah, you can do that. That's a pretty good idea. I've actually got another project I'm working on, which is a top secret one that I haven't talked about with anyone but maybe a one friend of mine. And if it ever comes down to it, I'll make that happen at some point. But I got to figure out how that'll work. There'll be a rule set. But my plan is to make something that other players, other fans of the channel could actually participate in. Something cool. And then I could make a little money off of it, the process. Because I don't know how I'm going to make money at this nonsense doing this channel, because that's the thing. You get this thing big enough, eventually at some point in time, you have to justify being on here. Whoop, wrong button. Well, let's take the Yosemite here. And we're going to go inside to the main bridge. Let's head on into Yosemite. And y'all can see what happens when you really get... Because some people probably seen guys like Captain Jack and all of them use the missiles. And one of the things I noticed Captain Jack does... And this is not me knocking on Jack. It could be he just doesn't know or he doesn't want to mess with it. Let's see. All right, missiles are on. Okay. So this is the fun part of this. We're going to just basically overwhelm the Bozeman as we move in on it. Oh, wait. Frick, I forgot to do that. I forgot to set the Bozeman. Ah, jeez. I forgot to set the Bozeman. Can't believe that. I forgot to turn that whole thing into an enemy ship so I could target it. Okay, out of this maze of a ship here. Even I make mistakes, folks. Even I make mistakes. Alright, we're going to turn the Bozeman into an enemy ship so we can target it. Now that I didn't know. Some of the tiered thrusters mods have rare resources for the player to get. So some are balanced. And that is actually pretty interesting, because if that's the case, I might actually consider them at some point. My problem is if a mod stops working, one thing about weapon mods, you can always work around them. But if you were to do another mod like that, if you were to introduce a mod and say, oh, hey, I don't know what I did. I made some noise there. Wow, this ship's really angry at me. Well, don't worry, I'll put you out of your misery here in just a second. Let's go right here. Click this. Click here. Go all the way down here to the bottom. Select all. Transfer to Space Pirates. And there we go. Not angry at me yet, but you will be. Anywho, try to make the doors automated. The doors are automated. Oh, you mean like put a sensor in? Yeah, that would be cool. That'd be cool. I'd have to. That's going to require a complete redesign of the ship, though. I may do that with a cruiser, so all the doors are automated. You walk up, the door opens. I had to put up an emergency shutdown sequence in there. Probably just put a large bulkhead in there, stop people from coming through. I do it. Well, they do make a double door in game, but I wish they'd make a 2-block door. There we go. A lot of these doors are somewhat automated already. It's just they're a pain in the butt to get in here and work with. Okay. Now, if you get the missile systems to working properly, there is an end result here where they just look impressive. And the whole ship is just going to be lighting that other vessel up. Okay, I'm locked onto him. We have mouse control. We're going to cycle the weapons here from accurate almost in range. Oh, we are trying. This is what happens when you get the stagger fire system figured out in the game. You can see that's just an god awful amount of missiles coming in. And the defensive systems, this is one thing with Weapon Core. Weapon Core is actually doing a better job at defending off against missiles than I thought they would. Let's go ahead and give it something that it can really mess with. Fire off a couple of those. Like I said, just give them something else to think about. I'm trying to figure out why those top guns aren't firing. Oh, they seem to be saying they have no target. Let's flip down here. Well, we've clearly got some problems here, because I can't figure out why this thing isn't opening up like it should be. Also show this off here. That's just too much fun. Okay, let's take a look over here. Turn that off. Let me check in here in the K menu, because we seem to be having difficulty here. Okay, they're all in the same category. That must be... I bet I gotta reassign that as a group. Throw that in there. Toggle block on and off. Just gonna have to reset some cyclings here. Let's see, where is it? Forced reload. And if I recall correctly, toggle mouse to control and shoot. You run into all these problems eventually. Let me go back here a little bit. Turn all those off, because we have them on, but I don't understand why. I'll answer some stuff while I'm sitting here thinking about it. Yeah, fair point. Yes, I'm on console, so I have one weapon pack to use, assault weapon pack, the best that there is on me platform. For doors, you can also have a mod that is a timer for doors to close after some time. I've seen them in Let's Play and Let's Playthroughs. I'll try to remember the name of the mod. Wrong ammunition? I don't think it's the wrong ammunition. I think it has to do with the grouping. When I put this in, I think I accidentally grouped stuff wrong, because now I've got the new group up here, but the current group is giving me crap this whole time, which is fun. Let me tell you. But I was testing out some guns, and I may not have put that in. What did I put that on? All right, toggle that. Now, let's head back here. Now, why are these top guns not doing a dang thing? See if that fixes the bottom guns. They don't seem to be firing. We'll get a little closer. They should be shooting off. It may be a glitch or something. Sometimes that happens with the mods. You have one of them will... Okay, here we go. We've only got one gun firing. Why is that happening? Hold on. I think I know what the problem is. Let's see. Where is... Alright, that one's on AI. That one's on AI. That one's on AI. What the heck's going on here? I put this on repel mode here. What is the difference going on here between these four guns? That's what I can't figure out. Alright, let's disable that as a target. There we go. Now we're talking. Oh, okay. Wasn't weapons range at all. Now we're angry. Let's check over here. Fire off a saturation salvo. Oh, better turn off the railgun here. Eat shit, Con. That's all you gotta say. Eat shit. Switch this sucker around here. Go to camera. God, that's loud when you get to the camera. And like I said, this is what happens when you got a really cool gun. Wondering about that back section. Let me back out here. Wondering about where that one cannon is sitting in the back, if I shouldn't elevate it, because it seems to be hitting, it could be hitting that one area or hitting that one gun in the back. That saturation salvo, though, off of the gun systems, when those missiles just come in and just swarm you like that. And I've never seen it used in live streams before. It's just an odd feature, and honestly, it's just a type of missile. You can cycle on through and just force cycle it, which is one of the reasons why this force cycling... Yeah, so what I figured out the problem was the... let me see if I can do it here. It's still just hammering away at it, but one of the things that is... what happened was I had to target lock, and something that happens with the weapon sometimes is you'll be sitting there targeting, and then you'll have to reacquire a lock because the other weapon systems won't respond to the weapon lock. So we got accurate missiles. Fire these bad boys off. It's just going to be straight incoming missiles. That'll just make an awesome looking screenshot for later. I'm going to put a thumbnail up on this afterward and do some editing. Yeah, this is just fun. I'm just sitting over here, just put a plant behind the shot. Like, yeah, I'm not sure what you're talking about there, man. Like a gas giant or something. Here, let's back off here a minute. Let me turn off some guns here. Because we're getting loud at the moment. Oh, he's drifting. Yeah, he's done. He's done. So yeah, I see Yosemite going on here. Like a gas giant. I don't understand what you're talking about there. Like a gas giant. That's got me wondering what's happening. Yeah, yeah. This is a problem in SE also happens on console here. A few weapons shoot while others are on standby. Um, the way I fixed it, there's always a protocol I go through. If I've got a ship that's already built up, I go look through all my systems first. If I know the systems are working, 9 times out of 10, it means for some reason when I locked on, the other weapon systems did not get the communication for some reason. I don't know why that happens, but it does. Um, and the easiest way to solve it that I found is disable your lock onto your target and then reacquire your lock somehow. Like right now, I'm having trouble taking the lock off, but what you do is you just simply reacquire your lock on the target, which creates a tense situation right there because you've lost lock on target and you've got to keep firing on it. Spawn a planet in. I don't know how to do that. There are things about SE even I don't know. As soon as I figure them out, I usually put a video up on them. There are ways of, if I wanted to, I could connect two of these ships, like smack them side by side and make one big ship out of this if I wanted, which I might do. I might do because the engine system here works so well. I may just jerk into ship engine systems, maybe merge like three of these ships together and then just kind of try to build. No, that's going to be way too much trouble. It's way more trouble than it's worth. I'll just build brand new ships. But yeah, so you can see how like freaking effective this thing is with the guns on it. And it looks nice too. It's like a Halcyon. And this works on my original way that I usually think about doing ships is make them look good without any paint. You can see the controls. Yeah, you can see the controls down here in this bottom area where I got them at. And this thing has like a thousand kilometer jump range, I think is what it is, or 1,600 kilometer jump range. So it's not as far as like the Alamo can jump further than this thing ever thought about going. But yeah, like I said, just sitting over here. This is just this. This is how I decided to celebrate it with y'all. Was sitting back here and doing this, showing off some ships and stuff. Which I really need to do another series at some point. Survival Under Fire has to come back. Clearly, I need more people for Survival Under Fire. That's just a given. And that flip and burn action right there is just awesome. But yeah, there are ways that introduce like ships. If you're gonna build a ship like this, if you're gonna build your own ships, there is always a way to do it. And the best thing I can tell you to do is base your ships not entirely, but base them. There's a button you press on your board, F1 or something, I think, like that, show you every keybind in the game. Really? Oh. Huh. This I did not know. That's interesting. Huh. Okay. I'll have to look at this more in depth later. Did not know that. But back to the whole building ships. The Sentinel class, its gun placement system and the way it was designed was based on. Let me think of a ship that if I can remember, the Rosadane from The Expanse. That's what it was based on. With its gun placement, it was based to have 6 guns that could fire forward and still provide a lot of really good fire rates in all positions. Um, the Alamo down there. Let me get up here so you guys can see it. The Alamo is actually based on a ship from the Alien franchise. I can't remember which one it is. It's in one of the movies, and I can't remember the name of it. Concordia class or something to that effect. Which it is just a giant gun, which is also the what is it? The Paris class frigate from Halo is also based on. So it's a loose basement on it. The Sentinels are based on that, and then this ship here is based on the Halcyon class from Halo to an extent, with a few design updates. Instead of being a as big and monstrous ship like the Halcyon was that carried all kinds of troops and everything, this is just a small frigate version of that. And so you can see the general shape of it, but it has a whole lot of other options to go along with it. So I got all these other things I can put in there and work with. Uh, yeah, I don't know how I'm going to build the next one. The next one's got to be a cruiser of some type because I want to build a cruiser at some point. But and that means large open hallways and that nonsense. And you can see the spawn menu keybind. Oh, so apparently you can spawn stuff in. Really? Let me check that again. Spawn player control. Where is that at? That would be interesting. How about advanced controls maybe? The heck is a copy object attached? I didn't know that was a thing. Next voxel material. Okay, there's okay, this is not the same thing, but here's something that I've been wanting to figure out. Every time I mess with voxel systems, I could never figure out how to swap over stuff. So this is interesting. I could make custom planets and stuff now. Crap. I didn't know this. Well, dummy on me. I didn't go in there and do a whole and check everything out. When you get in the said menu, you can see the top of the list button, which changes what you do to the spawn. Then select planet. Choose what you want. If you add modded planets, you can also spawn them from the menu. At advanced form, what I remember. Uh, hmm. Okay, hold up now. If what you're talking about, I think it's this menu here, and then admin tools. I think I've already got that set up. Entity list. No, that's not it. Economy. I have been messing with the replay tool recently. Cycle objects, trash. Is it in here? It's not here. I can't seem to find it. Every day we learn. Yeah, since you said that, I'm interested now because I'm wanting to look into that and see what it is, what I could put in. Because I know I can do this. I do this for the game all the time for like the solar script and everything else like that when I used it. Hmm. That is interesting right there. I've got to mess around with this a lot more and figure out how to put the plants in. Just the ability of using the voxels to. Oh wait, yep, I'm still in control of the Yosemite. Okay, yeah, we're gonna. Let's hop out of the console there and just leave it be. But yeah, I've been doing this. I got a call from someone. Apparently, I've got a slight emergency with a family member who needs help with their phone. Apparently, older family member needs help with a phone right now, and they just sent me a text just now on my phone. I'm watching the comments on there. F7, F8. I don't know. Maybe Shift F12. I'll keep that in, and I will screw with that because I really am interested in doing the whole dropping a planet. That would help with thumbnails and things. Like I said, I've had a gaming computer for a little over a year now. This is my first gaming computer where I have been able to screw around, have games like this. Originally, I had a PlayStation, and I got, and not to knock consoles because I have a lot of fun memories of PlayStation. My problem was every time they put out a game, I couldn't get the game in the same configuration that had come from other countries. So like if it was a Japanese game or something like that. And then the whole thing with Fallout where they were like, "Oh, hey, we're going to give you all mods," and then the mods show up and it's like, no, you're not going to be able to go to another group or company and get a good mod. You're going to have to get like crappy mods or the most limited mod you could possibly get. And that, in my opinion, the thing that I've really loved that I knew I would love when I got in here to doing this with mods, um, maybe do a tutorial from Red Havoc, wink wink. Yeah, I should probably do it once I figure that out. I'll have to do a voxel tutorial on putting planets in. I think someone's already done that, but it's like a long ass video. I'd have to do like short video content of it so it'd be easy to get and figure out. But the thing that I like about doing this here, like Space Engineers is coming to PlayStation. And I'm not knocking console people. Okay, I'm not knocking the people on console. If that's what you got, that's what you got. I know how that feels. I have had to play on console for years. When I got to here, this was a complete. To give you an idea, so a lot of y'all don't know how I got my system. I'm sitting here for months. Okay, I'm wanting to get back in YouTube, and I'm like, I want to get back in YouTube, and I tell my wife about it. I said I miss doing YouTube because I took a sabbatical. And she's like, "Well, if you missed YouTube, why don't you go back and play it again?" And I was like, if I do that, I'm not going to be able to. I'm going to do that, and nothing's going to work out, and it's going to be hard because I'm doing everything on PlayStation, and it's very difficult to do a gaming channel on PlayStation unless you're covering like a PlayStation exclusive or something that when it comes out, holy, hi bro, I think your mic is too low, too low. Let me see here. Might have been. I have no idea. Let me kick that up a bit. Can y'all hear it now? That seems to be a little bit better. Go up just a bit more. Is it? It might be. I don't know. According to the thing on here, it's saying I'm hitting like yellow zone all of a sudden. I don't want to get too high. So I kind of keep it kind of low. It is higher than the desktop audio though. But anyway. But so I'm wanting to get into it because the one thing that you do good on PlayStation if you're doing that is either a lot of tutorials on games that are exclusively PlayStation or you're doing you have to find a game that's really popular. And so a lot of the popular games that I liked to play were not games that I enjoyed playing a lot of times. It's not like Space Engineers. Space Engineers, if you looked at my whole system, I have thousands of it. I got friends of mine that sit back playing, man, you play Space Engineers so much, we never play anymore. And so I'm like, I really want to get into it. I really want to get back into like doing YouTube and stuff. And my wife's like, if that's what you want, she said, you ought to pray about it. And if it's something that God wants you to get back into, he'll make a way for you to do it. I'm like, yeah, okay. So I started praying about it. Didn't expect anything to happen. A couple of weeks in, my aunt, who comes in from New York, she goes, "Hey," and we'll say Badger because I'm not using my real name here. She goes, "Badger, um, I need to go get an eye surgery." But she's like, she needed an eye surgery. And she goes, "I need an eye surgery. would you be willing to buy my old computer and I'll and just pay me like I think she said 2 grand for the computer. In fact, when I got it, I ended up getting a whole lot of stuff. It had an Oculus with it because at the time I didn't know she played games, and I was like, well, yeah, I would like to. I said, but I'm not really needing. If I want a computer, I told her, I said, I don't need a computer for doing work. I said, I play games on stuff. I said, if I get a computer, I want a gaming computer. And she's like, oh no, this is a gaming computer. She sent me the specs, and I was like, holy crap, my aunt is cool as F. Something completely new. I didn't know because she goes up in New York. We rarely had contact with her a lot of times because the distance, and it was one of those things. Communication was just not something that worked out very well. And then she showed me this, and I was like, oh hey, I'd love to have a gaming computer that has those kinds of specs. And so we got to looking at the gaming computer and talked to her about it, worked everything out, and that's when COVID hit. So then in comes COVID. I get the computer and I'm like, okay, screw it. I am home, and I told my wife, I said, yes, I want this system. She's like, why is that? I said, I'll pay the 2,000. Paid my aunt the 2,000. She dropped it off into my vehicle, and I went out and got it. So we all stayed quarantined. So YouTube, don't get mad at me over that. We were all quarantined. We were all good people. Wink, wink. But anyway, we got done with that, and I got this thing in, and I started playing it. It took me forever to figure out the game system. So like I said, I'm just now getting a gaming computer, and I'm just now working through it and having all the fun with this thing that everyone else has normally been having. And it is it's a lot better than console. I'm gonna say that because the mods that I can throw on to something like this, if I want to do Skyrim right now, I could do all the stuff. I could do the sexy armor mod, which I can't do on PlayStation Skyrim. And that was one of the things that really irritated me about console was they would not allow you to have certain mods. And it's not so much they won't allow you to have it, it is the limitations of the console system. Whereas with a PC, you don't have all these limitations in there. Because if you give a console to, I'll put it like this, you give a console to a kid in comparison to giving them a console to a computer, you're going to have to do a lot more. That I guess the thing I would have to say is it's the ease of access on a console to just jumping in, throwing a disc in, hitting the power button, and going through the menu is a lot more easily accessible for the general population than it is going in, uploading, and then getting a mod, putting it onto your system. There's a lot of things you have to do that are technical in comparison to a console. And that's the thing that irritated me about consoles is you never could do that. There should be like a jailbreak mode put into consoles, but then they pitch a fit because the console companies worry about security issues. So, what armor mod? Um, it's called the Skimpy Outfit mod or Skimpy Outfit. It's made by some Russian guy, which I'm probably going to get canceled. I could get canceled for saying there's some Russian guy made a cool mod. By the way, he made a mod where he kind of takes the basic armors that are on the game already and just kind of skimpies them down for the chicks in the game. So it's, it's on Steam. Which amazes me. It's on Steam, and it's actually kind of nice. It's refreshing to have that mod when you see it. I've haven't played Skyrim in so long. I have to get back into that at some point. Throw a few mods on and not game breaking stuff, but just throw a few mods on and have some fun with it. Maybe a couple weapon mods while I'm at it. But every so often I'll go check out Skyrim. I'll be like, I'm feeling bored. All right, back to Skyrim for a little bit. Come back to Space Engineers. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna have to. I hate to be like this because I have to get off because I got a family member going, "Hey, I need help with my phone." I've got an older family member. Bless their heart. One of them people that's like, "Oh, I heard something else." Laugh. Yeah. That's the fun thing about doing live streams, though, is you get to talk to so many people, and it's ballistic. Is I guess would be the best way I could say this. Is live streams are very ballistic in the way they operate. You have interactions with people, and you have these, like I said, ballistic interactions that you might say something, they'll hear something else, and then y'all both have a laugh when you figure out what'll happen. It's like I didn't get to do a whole lot of trick into the ships. Most of the live stream was just showing off the IWL fleet, and I guess that's what I'm going to call it. 1,000 subscriber celebration. We're going to show off the current IWL fleet that we got right now. And I've got a plan I am working on in the works because when I started this channel and we hit, I think it was nine, no, it's a 500 point. I made a promise to everyone that had subbed at that point in time that I would find a way to make money off the channel while also providing value to everyone on the channel. And I've got a plan to do that. Me and a buddy of mine came up with one. I've got to come up with a way to make it work. And then we may have a way that you guys can take your builds and do something interesting with them. And it may cost some money on my part to get it done, which is why I may monetize the channel, just get it done, or even get a subscribe star at some point. I will probably monetize it so super chats can be worked. And I building that, there is a thing that we used to do with Space Engineers. I'll let y'all in on a secret of what this does. If it works. If it works. This is a big if. So before anyone asks, if it turns out this doesn't work out, I will let y'all know. But used to, you could make 3D printed models of ships in Space Engineers. And this idea that I've got going would require that. I have to figure out how it works. I'm pretty sure I could get someone with some technical know-how and a 3D printer that could do it. But then once that's done, there may be a way y'all can participate in this thing. Like I may have may do some type of contest or something while we're at it. Yeah, if it Red Havoc, if it works. Yeah, I've got to get it to work. That's the problem. And the thing is, this is going to take a lot of beta testing between me and other people who enjoy this kind of thing. But I don't want to put too much out there because it'll put too much hope. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But if it does, oh, it'll be awesome. It'll be awesome. Who knows? I might get some other YouTubers to want to get involved as well with it. But it'll be something that I can put out, make money, and you guys can buy and enjoy, is what I want. Kind of like, oh yeah, remember that, but if that the ships shouldn't have interiors. Yeah, they probably shouldn't have interiors. You don't have to print the interiors. You just have to print the outside model. And there was a company that did this. I think Aaron from Last End Gamers was showing it off, and it was really cool that someone took a 3D printer and the printers were kind of rough, but 3D printing now has gotten to such a degree you could print a pretty cool looking model. And that's what I'm kind of looking at is somehow taking a model like that and making a product that you guys would want to buy. And that when you bought it, you'd be like, yeah, this is sort of like, what was it? Sort of like if any of y'all have seen the current online comic book boom, where guys are now creating channels and they're creating a product. Um, there's a lot of them. Probably the the one that I would think of the most would be Young Ripa because he's that guy that ended up going out there, put out a comic book and made like millions of dollars off of it. That's what I'm talking about. Making some kind of monetary thing that y'all can buy and have value in. So it's not just e-begging the whole time. I guess would be the best. That's the only thing I can think of on my end that doesn't sound insulting. Would be, I don't want everyone sitting there like, well, he's e-begging. I want people to be able to sit back and go, well, he is giving us stuff that's actually kind of cool. I mean, he's actually coming up with stuff that's cool. So yeah, I would come up with something that would be interesting that y'all could participate in, and one that would help support y'all could support the channel with your creations, and at the same time have something cool y'all could go in and I don't know. It may end up becoming something really neat. Y'all could sit there and have and use. Yeah, real merch. Real merch. What sounded sad? I don't know what sounded sad. Worrying about insulting everyone or coming up with something else. And it's all right. It's because of YouTube. I have to do that. That's what bothers me is I have to sit there and talk like that. There is another project I have an idea for. Since we hit 1,000 last night, me and I think AO Chris were sitting up there talking one night. We were talking about me hitting 1,000, And I was just brainstorming. Suddenly, all these ideas have started coming out that I could do something interesting with this channel and do something awesome. Um, because really, and my wife said this to me the other night as well. She was like, "You realize that there is a possibility you could do this for a living. You could support your family doing this. You could do YouTube, play games, and this could be how you make some cash if you plan this and you do it right." And I'm just sitting here looking at that and listening to her, and I'm thinking, yeah, but I got to do it right. That's the problem, and that's the big fear. But we've already done the risk of getting to 1,000 subscribers, so I mean, I'm kind of screwed at the moment anyway. There's no way out of it now. I mean, that YouTube doesn't give money that much to people with low sub counts. Yeah, yeah, that's the problem there. Um, and there's so many limitations on it. Like me and a buddy of mine were talking. There's another, like I've got several ideas that I could throw out there. Uh, Another one was me and my buddy were talking about it, and he said the idea that you're coming up with is really cool. This is completely different. He said, but there's no way YouTube would allow you to monetize that. And I said, yeah, yeah, there wouldn't. He said, but he was like, you could put it on Rumble, and they'd probably let you monetize it. And that's probably going to become a thing. I'm just warning everybody right now. It's going to become not something that I'm doing in spite of y'all. It's something I'm having to do in spite of what YouTube does. Because my thing on this channel is I want to be the least offensive person possible. There's no reason to piss people off if I can help it. I'm actually at that age where I'm like, I don't really. It's not my goal in life. I went through my edgelord phase back when I was younger, but now the thing is, it's like it's gotten so strict that I've reached a point where you can't really talk about certain ideas, and that bothers me because you should be able to do that. You should be able to talk about everything, and you should be able to joke about everything. I am a bit of an absolutist when it comes to free speech on that nonsense, because at some point in time, this is the problem I have. At some point in time, if you're not the person that's in charge of society, well, someone else will be. And the thing I've always hated about telling people what they could and could not say is I remember I had family who went over and fought in World War II. And one of the things that one of them mentioned was he said there were people in Germany after they had liberated Germany, after we went in and took over Germany. He said there were Germans who still would not say things about the Fuhrer because they had been so beaten down by their society. And he said the guys that were the bad guys were in charge of what everyone could say. And when you have a society that start when you have a system that does that, eventually if the bad guys ever get in control, they tell you what you can and cannot say. And I tend to not like that. So I would like to joke, but the problem is it is the risk of the channel. So if I made a joke or something on here, it would risk the entire sanctity of the channel and everything would fall apart and all that. So I've got to come up with a different way of doing that. So Rumble may be a place where I could have that outlet for ideas that are, we'll say, not safe for YouTube. You have not safe for work. We have not safe for YouTube content coming to Rumble maybe eventually sometime down the road. That's probably going to be like the 30,000 subscriber mark or something. So I mean, it's like way on down the line. All this stuff way on down the line. But since hitting 1,000 subs, I'm like, I could monetize a little bit. I could get a little bit of extra capital because I'm covering my bills right now. That's another thing. I'm at a pretty unique spot because most of the time I come in and a lot of people that come into YouTube go, yeah, if I could do this, I could have enough money to pay my bills if people donate to the channel. And I'm coming in at I've got that solved. I mean, I don't need bill money for YouTube. This is just extra capital. And with extra capital comes extra opportunities. I can take my money and go do some stuff. I can take the money y'all give me and go jump out and make some product and do something and legitimately get wealthy. As we say, like provide a product that makes the world a better place and then I get paid for it. Awesome. It's like the guy that cures cancer or something like that. I would cure uh, a cancer of what would I how can I say that without
I'm getting off topic and I'm fixing to like screw myself over right now if I say too much. Like, how do I do this? I could cure like the disease of lacking of entertainment or something where people sit back, create that cure. We would pay that guy for that. So I would like to be that person, that makes it, puts it out there at a very reasonable price, and everybody is happy. I'm happy, y'all are happy, everyone's good. But anyway, I've rambled way too much. I'm gonna have to get off because I think my family member's starting to pull in. Anyway, thank you guys for watching the live stream with me and celebrating. Probably going to do more of this. May do Survival Under Fire again with Gomer. Might get some other people involved. And gonna have a whole lot of cool stuff going on. I'll finish up with the last of them. Yeah, like Andrew Man Gaming and Kanji. Yeah, that would be something. I need something that I can sell. I want to do more than just hats though. I want something that, because hats and stuff are kind of overdone. And I probably will have like a hat or a mug or something like that you can buy, or a phone case or something. I've got to do like, y'all don't understand what I need to build up to make this work is the IWL doesn't even have an emblem yet as a group, and I could put that onto cups and stuff like that. I would be willing to do it. Um, Continuing on here. Yeah, nowadays people get offended for a really simple reason or dumb reason, yet YouTube demonetizes anything. Yeah, and that's the problem. It's like, here's the thing. There's a passage in scripture where, and then this is how I kind of run my life by, where Christ goes, "Be hot or be cold, but do not be lukewarm, for I'll spit you out of my mouth." And that passage of scripture is Christ saying, "Look, the path that he brings forward, being Christian and everything else, it's not for everybody. Not everybody can do it. Some people want to, enjoy the luxuries that are in this world. People who are Christian are setting up for another world." And Jesus is like, "Look, both drinks are refreshing, okay? The happiness in both of them, and the drink is the happiness of the human being. It's like, if you're warm, you're close to God. You're walking the path. If you're cold, you're not, you're in the world. But both drinks, the happiness in both of them are refreshing to Jesus. He wants you to be happy no matter what. This is just something that he's offering. And I'm not trying to push religion. I'm just trying to say, look, in all response, most of that is just voluntary. And the reason being is that's how I kind of look at everyone going through life. As long as no one's messing with everybody, hey, we're all good. But some people I don't understand wanting to go out there and cause, or not cause. I tend to look at those people and think, because I got bullied when I was in high school. So I mean, there's always that thing in the back of my mind when I'm talking with someone in real life and we get to joking back and forth. There's this thing in the back of my head where I'm like, I'm going to go too far here in a minute. And I'm just worried about ruining that relationship with that person that I've got. And so I kind of hold back a bit. But like I said, that is the thing that gets me when I see someone who's getting offended over that. I'm like, I don't know what that person's gone through in life, but I also wonder what the heck is going on that they're getting offended at every little thing. Like you can't be. It's kind of like I had a family member one time get burned, and they said you don't understand what trauma can do to you in the moment when you've lost all your skin at that point. And he said even the air. He said when they were going down the road, it was a hot day, and he had a major burn on his arm, and he said they had to close the windows and sit in the heat because just the wind hitting his arm, the nerves were exposed, and so it was causing him pain at that moment. And that's how I kind of look at people who are offended. They're people that have been hurt so badly that they are hostile towards everything. It's kind of like a country, or I guess a better example would be it's kind of like a person who has been attacked. They're on the defensive at all times. And I'm just kind of wondering what the heck happened there. I would love to figure it out, but a lot of people don't want to talk about trauma, so you can't force those conversations. And so, like I said, being able to talk about something and fix it, talking fixes a lot of things. Me and my wife, communication was something I had to work at when I got married. Oh man, she one day finally we were into it because I had seen fighting Like that was just a regular thing with families. And my wife finally looked at me one day and she said, "Look, we'll either get a divorce or you'll learn how to talk to me." She said, "But I can't help you with problems unless you talk to me about it." And that probably bothered me more than anything else because she just wouldn't fight with me. And to me, that was a normal thing. Um, and it wasn't that my family was bad. It was just that life was hard. And when you have a hard life, things come to the surface. Things just get stuck there, and you end up having moments where people just start fighting like cats and dogs for no reason. And I can tell y'all right now, being the kid growing up in that is not a fun thing. And fortunately, I think I've probably given my daughter a little bit better life than what I had when I was younger. And I'm rambling now. Just that's all I'm doing at the moment. I'm rambling about life. But yeah, this has been I've enjoyed doing this with y'all. And like I said, just there will probably be things coming to Rumble simply because I can't do them on YouTube. And that's probably an over exaggeration of what the whole thing, the whole reason why. I wish that we had a world where people just didn't fly off the handle and lose their crap because I'm living in the world in my own house where people don't fly off the handle. And it's like, okay, what's the problem? And I've actually gotten to that point where before we would get into it. Now, now it's like I'm handling things a little better with my kid. My kid comes up, and she's like, "Dad, I have a problem." And I go, "Okay, what's the problem here?" And then we just work through it logically. And she seems to do better. She seems to be doing better mentally than I was when I was a kid, and I'm impressed. She's still just as snarky and smart aleck as I am. So, but yeah, I want to thank you guys because we've hit over 1,000 subscribers. I got people popping in and saying congrats on 1,000 subs. Let me see here. Get back to my live chat. Congrats on 1,000 subs. Pytrix, yes, thank you very much. And Holy also uh, came on here. Thank you for watching. But yeah, sorry, I got a little therapeutic here at the back end of this. But yeah, like I said, that's kind of what I'm looking forward to on this channel, making something that people can come on and just have some fun with. Because I don't think there's enough good, wholesome entertainment in the world where y'all can just come on here, not worry about what's happening, and just know, yeah, things are going to be entertaining as all get out. But anywho, yeah, thank you all for doing this. Hopefully things will work out and this will be something that I'll do for the next 10, 20 years with you guys. And y'all be sitting here and I'll be in the nursing, maybe, who knows, I'll be in a nursing home in another 50, 60 years sitting here. All right, boys, today we're going to be playing Space Engineers 45, making a brand new ship today with a new tutorial. No, y'all guys enjoy this. And you guys will watch me stroke out live on stream or something. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, like I said, hope you guys enjoyed this. And as always, I am Badger Wild saying thank you guys for the support. This channel, I often say this, 20% of the channel is me. The rest of it is everyone that has decided to watch it. Because without y'all watching it, it doesn't go nowhere. Anyway, thank you all. Love y'all for subscribing. Hopefully I'm going to keep growing this channel and giving y'all some great stuff. And in the end,